Morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Wednesday, the 15th day of January, 2025. I hope you're all safe and healthy today. I hope your family is safe and healthy and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders who every day are doing their best to save lives. Those also that make delivery for our convenience and those that pick up garbage and keep our places clean. Double blessings on the men and women out here trying to help, rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children that are the victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People that are also victims of pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, sex slavery, prostitution, child prostitution. Double curses on the perpetrators, the profiteers, and the perverts that create the great demand for these heinous and evil industries. And finally, double blessings on the homeless. More than 600,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, and veterans homeless in the United States of America, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. There is scheduled to be a basketball game tonight in Philadelphia, PA. The New York Knicks are scheduled to take on the Philadelphia 76ers in the official beginning of the second half of this season. It's very difficult for me to think about the second half of the season. The reason being is because one of the worst times of the year for me is when there's no Knicks. So I want the season to last. I wanted to keep on going. And it does, it comes to an end. Hopefully for our Knicks, it ends later, like June. It'd be nice. But so tonight they play Philly. Now, Philly, at this point, has been struggling this year. Philly has been struggling. Now, the thing is, too, yes, Philly has been struggling. Right now, the Philadelphia 76ers are in the 11th place in the East. They're 2 full games out of the play-in right now. In their last 10, they're 4-6, and they've lost 3 in a row. But what we have learned, if we haven't yet, we got a problem. You can't take anybody lightly in the league. You can't take anybody lightly. You have to play each game. And this is the thing, too, brethren, in Knicks Nation. I want everybody to understand. See, it's not about the opponent. In a sense, I know this sounds weird, but the Knicks have to really play Knicks basketball. That's what it comes down to. And what we have seen is they've been very inconsistent in playing Knicks basketball. What do I mean? Well, really, Gato, as much of a blessing as he is in terms of nobody can guard him, he's an offensive player. Now, someone say he's a weak link or defense. I'm not ready to commit to that yet, but he's not Mitchell Robinson defensively. He's not. He's not Jarrett Allen. He's not Evan Mobley. He's not those guys. He's not Rudy Gobert. That's not him. He's an offensive force, though, right? But that throws everything off because Tom Thibodeau wants an anchor in the defensive unit, right, for his defense. And he always has it. He's taken guys like Nerlens Noel and made them look like all NBA defenders, right? Because Nerlens Noel was brick hands, but he was a rim protector, right? And so Thibs uses that the way Mike D'Antoni used to use point guards. Mike D'Antoni could take a point guard like a Jeremy Lin off the scrap heap and create Linsanity with his way he runs his offense. Thibs does that with rim protectors on defense. Now, that being the case, we gave up a lot to get Gato. And so and Gato is giving his all for the Knicks. Gato is playing, he is playing inspired basketball. And why do I mean? Because his moms and his dad wanted him to play for the Knicks. They're from New Jersey. They wanted him to play on the Knicks. That was a team they always followed. His mom's, rest in peace, passed away because of the COVID. And so he is really playing inspired ball for the memory of his mother and for his father and for the city. He loves the fact, and he didn't push for the trade. It just happened, and that's important because it seems like fate brought him to New York, and he sees that, and he's playing like that. So we got him. We gave up a lot to get him, and we got to work around this. What I'm saying is he doesn't really fit the traditional Tom Thibodeau rim protector. So we have to play around that. Now, some of you suggest perhaps we should start Precious, and I hear that, but the combination of energy, rebounding, and defense that Josh Hart brings to the table. And somebody reminded me yesterday that it was about a year ago, I was saying Josh Hart's not a natural starter. He's not. He's really a natural bench piece. He's natural second unit guy. Highest level you could get of a second unit guy. But right now, when you don't have the rebounding dominance that you're normally getting, and it's not Gato's fault. Gato's leading the league in rebounding. But they don't have the offensive rebounding prowess they had. It's the offensive side of the rebounding that's missing right now. And, you know, when you're going from Mitchell Robinson, who, I mean, arguably top 3 in the world, because the NBA is the best league in the world, so the best players in the best league, and he's one of the top 3 offensive rebounders in the NBA. So you're missing that. Okay, that's a big part of what Thibodeau does. Rim protection, offensive boards, big part of what he does. But to take Josh Hart out the starting unit right now would be difficult because Josh Hart, aside from the 3 elements I brought up, which is the rebounding, the defense, and the energy, he is a one-man fast break. He does it better than anybody in the league, in my opinion. When he gets a defensive rebound and busts it up the court on his own dribble, he causes a lot of pressure on the defense. And every game he hits at least one layup that way, running the floor like that. That puts a lot of pressure on the defense. Now, Precious has been starting to do that a little bit. You know, thing about Precious Achiuwa is he got upside, lots of upside. So eventually he's going to be able to do that, which is going to make him even more dangerous. But for right now, yeah, it would be better to start Precious in terms of the type of defense Tom Thibodeau likes to run. But you cannot do it yet until you get Mitchell Robinson. Because if you get Mitchell Robinson, your bench now is Mitch Rob with Hart and Deuce. Defense lockdown, okay? And then you could put Precious next to Gato, and now you have the rim protection. Precious is an excellent shot blocker. I think we understand. He's an excellent shot blocker and defending close to the rim for a guy that's 6'8", okay? And it was interesting to me to watch him and Beef Stew go at it because to me those are 2 of the same type player. Say Beef Stew's a little bit more buff, but they the same type players, same size, same roughneck type dudes. So it was really good matchup against Detroit like that the other day. But tonight against Philly, you have to get back to the basics, okay? As best you could. So that means low turnovers. Got to keep the turnovers low. 18 definitely ain't going to cut it. You cannot have 18 turnovers in the NBA and try to win on a consistent basis, number one. So you got to keep them turnovers low. I remember over the last, in fact, every Thibodeau year, there's some so-called experts that are always whining about the slowness of the Knicks' pace. They last in the league in pace. Oh my God, pace. Pace works for the Knicks. Slow pace. Because you control the game that way. Okay? You control the game. You're more in a half-court set. And you're more positioned that way to keep your turnovers low and to execute in the half court. That works for the Knicks. Fast pace looks nice, you know, fast break basketball, sure. But as a rule, that creates more turnovers. And for the Knicks, the way they want to rebound, play defense, control the basketball, slow pace is better. So they should slow the pace down. They should concentrate on executing in the half court. Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart both said we're slow on our rotations. As I was mentioning, again, and everybody, this is the thing. I wish people in Knicks Nation would understand. Your first thought should not be to blame somebody on the Knicks for their losses. Your first thought should not be trade somebody and get somebody. That's 20 years ago, Knicks. We got a team now. You want them to stew and develop. You don't want to just make a quick trade and think it's going to fix everything. Okay? You don't. I was trying to watch. I couldn't watch the whole thing. Ian Begley was with two knuckleheads on it. And he's been putting Ian Begley, love him. You know, he was one of my 3 wise men, now one of my 2 wise men left. But he is really a nice guy. And he acquiesced to every knucklehead that wants to be on his channel. And he has some renters on there. So I was trying to listen to these guys talking about trading Mitchell Robinson. To me, if you let Mitch Rob play on the second unit, he's going to prolong his career because he won't have to play as heavy minutes in the second unit, especially if you got Precious in the first unit with Gato. To me, that's a key to get us to the next level. And if you can prolong Mitchell Robinson, see, next year Mitchell Robinson is going to make just under $13 million. Right now, for a guy in that position, you're looking at your Nas Reed type dudes, right? Coming off the bench type situations. Your Tari Eason type guys coming off your bench again. That's going to be a number that's going to be a normal number for a high level second unit player. 13 million. It is. So if you can keep him in that number and have him coming off your bench, you can guarantee he's going to play 72 games a year, be ready for your playoffs and all of that. Okay, you're going to be glad you have it. Now, the trade guy this year is Mitchell Robinson in terms of who's going to make the impact after the deadline. It's him. And I think the Knicks know that. This is why I'm glad we got the Don. He ain't just trying to make moves because he's at Las Vegas with money to burn in his pocket and he got trades that he want to make. He's trying to improve the team with the purpose of getting the chip. Tonight we got Philly. To play Knicks basketball, we need to slow this thing down. Keep them turnovers low, rebound the ball, okay? Take opportunities when you got them, but don't force it, okay? And rotate. Put your energy on the defensive end of the floor and rotate around that floor. Like Tom Thibs would call it, fly around defensively. Offensively, I don't care if two guys only score double figures. I don't care if the game is 90 to 86. That's fine. We just need to win the basketball game. Okay, second half of the season, here we go. Mitch Rob should be back, I'm hoping, within 2 weeks. And then we start to get him back in the flow. And in the second unit, I think we'll be ready to go. But for right now, we got to slow this thing down a little bit, regroup, focus on Knicks ball. For them, meaning keep the pace slow. Don't worry about scoring 150 points. Get 50 rebounds if you can. And then keep that defense, keep that pace slow, and keep that defense cooking on the rotations. You don't need Mitch Robinson to do that, okay? You got to do that, though. That's where we at tonight. I don't care who they put on the floor. Now, Maxey was out against the Thunder. Paul George was out against the Thunder. Caleb Martin was out against the Thunder. All of those guys were out. Joel Embiid was out against the Thunder. I got to believe these guys will be back, most of them, for the Knicks. Everybody gets up for the Knicks. Okay. Plus, you're going into Philly. So when you're going into Philly, that's Mikal Bridges territory. And you know Jalen Brunson and Josh, they love Philly. They played there. That's a big time for them. So that's an advantage for us. Plus, we know Knicks Nation shows up large in Philly. So this is all good. But we got to execute tonight. That's what we got to do. Execute. Y'all enjoy the game. We'll talk to y'all soon. Sure.